live from the third day of SOAR 2025, which has been unreal. I think I'm still pinching myself that I'm not dreaming how awesome it has all been. It's been the second event that I've lost electricity at and hosted.
Oh, that's right.
But it brought us all out on the grass in all of our pink gala gear, so it's been super fun. I'm sitting here today with three of our speakers that hit the stage. Eric, you just came off the stage. It was vibrant. Everybody loved your presentation. How are you feeling?
What a speaker.
How are you feeling about SOAR 2025?
Oh man, this was my first time attending SOAR 2025, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it's better than any conference I've been at in a long time.
Really?
The sense of empowerment and just the uplifting atmosphere. Everyone's just so engaging and supportive. It's not, hey, how are you? Here's what I do. It's, hey, have you met this person? And it's just people connecting with other people. I just never felt so supportive and just amazed to meet so many wonderful people. It's been awesome.
Awesome. We loved having you. Dawn, keynote, day one.
Yeah.
You kicked it off.
Yeah.
You killed it.
Yes.
Not that we
Amazing.
expected anything.
Thank you. It was good. It was really a lot of fun, I have to say. And of course, in true Dawn fashion, I had not rehearsed any of it.
You could not tell.
I was watching you this morning. I was like, yeah, he knows, he's got it down. It was very inspiring and impressive. But we all have our different styles and strengths, and that's what makes it so amazing. And just having the opportunity to be authentically who I am, which may appear to be unprepared, but I'm not. Just very authentic and sharing the stories, the true stories of how we all are just kind of trying to figure out how to navigate through this world of leadership and transformation and authenticity. But it was a wonderful day, and I don't actually want this to end. It just is so special. And because I was there last year as your second day keynote, I can say last year was unreal. This year is like another level, don't you feel? Just a whole nother level. And kind of to your point, the feeling of camaraderie and community, I felt when I was standing on stage, like I knew 90% of the people in that crowd, and it was family. It felt like family.
Yes.
Did you feel that way too?
I absolutely did.
That sense of belonging that I talked about yesterday. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. It's like
you're
part of this tribe of amazing people. Yeah, it was pretty special. Yeah.
Robin, you closed out day one, killed it.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
You
much.
did. It was awesome.
Yes.
First of all, it's very awkward sitting like this. I
Hi.
feel like I'm on a
Hello.
morning show. Like this, or what do we do? We're all very close
what
here.
Matt Lauer went through?
I know. Like, what do I do with my hands? I feel like I'm not really sure.
It's
but
very
anyway,
awkward.
It's all good. It's amazing. It's amazing being here, and also just honored to be part of this. Honestly, thank you for inviting me, Rebecca. Of course, because of you, Dawn. I'm here because you connected us in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
it's good stuff.
The three of us, I think. The amazing part of this is that the three of us actually talked a lot about the same thing, even though we had done
Totally
zero
different.
coordination between the three of us.
Right.
Yes.
So we all touch it from different angles with different stories. It's all really about, at the end of the day, how to be a good human, how to inspire others to be good people, right? And how to show up in a way that's authentic to you and do the best work of your life. Like reclaiming your power, and I was so inspired seeing your talk.
Oh, thank you.
Could not tell that you had not rehearsed it because it felt like you were just nailing it. Yours was just brilliant. A great way to just kick off the last day.
Yes, it was
So I
great.
guess coming back to the event, it's amazing being here. Honestly, just like the sense of being part of something bigger than yourself.
Right.
Like that sense of belonging.
Yes.
It's just in 2025, we can't take that for granted. I don't think really. It's, it feels like we're getting more and more divided, and this here just brings it back to what really matters. So thank you again for organizing this.
I just love helping people realize it's okay to be their authentic self and to bring who they are. It's exhausting being fake. And so how do you do that? Be a leader. And then us as more senior leaders, how do we light that fire under the younger crowd's ass to realize that they really can make that jump, and we're here to help them right on the way down. So especially like our kids that you spoke about today. I've been public about my ADHD and how that is a struggle, but as long as you find their superpower and help people find their superpower, and light that fire, they're going to do amazing things.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I've heard so many times today and throughout this conference. Like, there's so many people out there that's like, you know what, you were speaking to me. You know, there's people that bought in co-workers and even their mentees and stuff just to be part of this event. And, you know, when I shared that story about Sophia, you know, and the struggles that we've had with helping her with her ADHD, you know, there's so many people that said, you know, that resonates with me, you know, and it's like, I did it because it was a moment where it was just, I felt that moment to be vulnerable, you know,
Love it.
and it's just so much pain in the world, and there's so much stuff going on, especially with mental illness and mental health issues. It's not always talked about. Like when I realized that she had ADHD, you know, you do Google, you're like, where can I find help? Nobody knows, but people deal with it, and when you talk to them about it, you're like, yeah, I deal with the same thing. You know, and I was glad I was able to spark that conversation today, because so many people came to me afterwards and they gave me so much good insight, and they shared their own personal stories.
Yes.
That's, to me, that embodies what SOAR is all about.
Yeah,
It's also interesting, right? You've managed to gather a group of people here, I think, that really define all different generations, right?
Yeah.
One thing that gives me hope about the new generation actually is that they're much more willing to have these conversations about mental health than maybe some of us who are a little bit more senior, seasoned, let's say, put it that way. But
seasoned.
like have maybe struggled with, because it wasn't natural as part of this. I mean, I even saw a stat that said 90% of Gen Z thinks they can write a self-help book. And at first when I saw it, I'm like, you talk about, tell other people how to live, but at the same time, maybe it's just being willing to have the conversations, being open to having that conversation, being curious about it in a way that I think is actually very inspiring, right? Because the story you told about your daughter was super inspiring, right? But that would have been hard to tell maybe 5-10 years ago. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or just pack it down.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Right?
Dawn's really good at like getting it to come out.
Yeah,
And,
I can get it. I can
she's
get
like,
you to.
I'm sensing. She'll call me randomly, say, "I'm sensing you have some bad energy. Let's get that out."
She said
like,
that to me one day. I was like, whoa, I was like, this remote wasn't even face to face. She said, I'm like, what are you, like, get out of here.
My magical witch powers, as some people call them.
I love it. Well, right when we
funny.
kicked off SOAR, you were like, walked in the hotel, you're like, the energy, I feel the energy. And a group of us actually went and did some breath work and got grounded. And then it was like, okay, now we're ready to kick this off. And
we blessed the room.
Yes, yes.
It was a big deal to
It
keep it grounded. Well, I want to say something about what you shared, because last year, since the two of you weren't there, I loved what happened last year, because we had something very similar around mental health. You know, it just always kind of seeps into my conversations as well, because I'm a huge, advocate of that with my son. But that keynote last year was so different for me, because
it was.
It was very different, and it couldn't be the same this year. It had to be different.
But people know your story.
They know my story, and even if they don't, I think that they will learn. But sharing the vulnerability and the authenticity of mental illness or mental health, and how our generation, or I should say mine, because I'm older than all of you guys, really didn't talk about it. And we really didn't even face it as like, that is a component that can come into work. It was very much, you keep that at home, you drop all of that, and you do not bring that into work. You've got issues, great, you deal with it when you're not at work. Right? And so now what I love is that even in the keynote that I shared about my son, I can't even tell you how many people came up to me, just like you today, that were in tears, that were like, my son or my daughter is also dealing with the same mental illness. My son is on the street and homeless. My daughter and I haven't spoken in years. And it was just this moment of, like, you're not alone. And that's the essence of SOAR. You're not alone, no matter what it is.
And that was the theme of Atlanta. Like, you don't have to be on the top in a C-level spot and feel so lonely. Like, we're here to help each other create phone of friends in that network for whatever it might be going on.
Yeah. I mean, when you talked about the Generation Z, I really appreciated the question that I got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From Adrian.
Adrian's like, listen, buddy.
Yeah, she was like, look, you can't just sit
I
over there
love
and just
her.
take those jabs. And I
We're
talked to her
gonna. It's
offline.
good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thanked her for her question.
Me
Yeah,
too. Me
yeah.
too. And I talked to her afterwards, and I was like, listen, I mean, she was like, I was like, first of all, I appreciated that question.
Yes.
You know, because
Tell everybody what the question is.
it was, it was something to the effect of, well, what can you do to help me as a Generation Z person communicate and I guess get rid of some of the stereotypes of what Generation Z, what Generation Z people are about.
The labels.
Yeah, the labels, right? And it was something to that effect. And I was like, at the end of the day, I mean, we do get caught up in, the generation, different types of generations and how to act towards different people because they've experienced different things. But at the end of the day, it's about having a meaningful conversation
Yes.
and about getting to know that person and connecting with that person individually. And so many times where we use that blanket approach, that cookie cutter approach to say, oh, well, we'll treat this person this way because that we miss so many different key things that we can do to connect with other people, which is why I always tell people, especially leaders, when you're trying to interact with your teams, don't just use those one-on-one conversations as an opportunity to get status updates. Ask how you can support them.
Yeah.
What are they going through? What are some things that are out there that you can help them out with? What are some ideas that they have that you can include into your planning, into your strategy?
Yes.
And when you have those kind of conversations, it just makes everything so much easier because you're connecting.
Let me ask a question, like in the spirit of vulnerability, because I'm like between I think millennials and like Gen X, right?
Yeah.
So I think I have a little bit of that work ethic of the Gen X, like just work hard, grind it out, and then a little bit of the sensibility of the millennials, where like a little bit softer and a little bit more about collaboration and care. And I swing a little bit between these two, and I'm all for like you got to lean into and like figure out how to bridge the divide. But sometimes I also feel like it can be so emotionally exhausting when you're just dealing with trying to solve that all the time. Like I've dealt with some team members, Gen Z and the millennials, where they're so nearly emotionally fragile, is at least what I perceive. And I'm like, okay, at some point I just can't spend all my time trying to manage your emotions. We also have to actually get work done. How do you balance that, right? I mean,
That's part of our job, though. At the top, we
It
almost
is,
become
for sure.
HR.
Yes.
At the top,
this
then
is
we
true.
are programming or doing anything like that. And so I think,
and I'm not saying you should dismiss, but I'm like, when is too much too much? Because at some point you also.
well, sometimes you have to let employees go. Sometimes when it gets too far. But I think I like pulling them on, letting them know that they feel heard. And like I've told this story before, like when I was a CIO, of course I had a couple ACE cards. I never laid them down. Got the team together. Let's all feel heard. Let's make the decision together. Let's march out that door together.
Right.
And so I think for them, making sure that they feel heard and that, and then explaining why you might not have chose their option, right?
You know what's interesting too is when I had my company, I had a lot of younger generation that worked with me, and I felt really inspired by them. But there were times where we would be in meetings and they'd be on their phone, and immediately the judgment I would have is like, what are you on, like TikTok right now? Are you on Instagram? Like, what is happening? Which was the wrong reaction to have. So instead of thinking they're on their phone for something like that, how about reframing? Because I'm going to bring this back to reframing as always. How about reframing it of like, maybe they are actually taking notes from the meeting. Maybe they are looking something up for the meeting. Maybe they're doing something that is actually engaged, but they're not checked out. And so what I would say to those leaders is when you see that, maybe stop and say, or pull them aside afterwards and say, hey, how do you handle when we're in meetings like this? How do you best take notes or learn? Is that something you're doing on your phone? Is that how you're kind of is it easier for you to do that? Because our generation, it's like the long hand, writing everything out. And so it's just that shift of maybe it's not the way we would do it. And they're doing something different that's more that is, is completely opposite of what we would do, but
it's probably smarter and faster.
But faster. And why are we assuming? Why are we assuming that they're doing something they shouldn't be? I mean, it's not. That was the biggest lesson I think for me was to reframe it.
Yeah. I think reframing, like, and you're big on that, Dawn. Like, I think that is absolutely critical because when you make certain assumptions about people, and it could just be based on our own ways, what we've grown up to. If it's not something that we're used to seeing, when we start making those assumptions and we have those biases, I mean, we completely exclude so much talent, and we leave so much of of building those relationships. We completely exclude it. And what happens, you have people who just completely shut down. Robin, when you gave your talk yesterday, I mean, you talked about that impact of people who are disengaged. When we talk about 2 out of 3 people, I mean, how much of that is a failure or an inability to not shift or reframe those kind of conversations, and to really connect with people, to really understand like what is it they're going through.
Totally, and that's why I'm so hopeful for the new generation, because they actually really care about purpose and belonging and doing something that matters. They're not just doing it for a paycheck. I mean, some are, of course. And you have to pay the bills and all that stuff, but they really want to believe in something. And when you've unlocked that in those people, God, the sky's the limit, really, right?
What happens to the culture though after you unlock that?
It's just like
those are the most successful companies. You've been a part of.
Yes, you have.
It takes work, right? That's the job of leaders. Like also when I hear leaders complain about it, like, that's the job. Suck it up. You know? This is why you become a leader. Right? To inspire others and unlock their potential, right? You know?
When they're complaining and saying like that is a problem, or they're feeling stressed because I'm always like, are you in the right role? And maybe it's your time to exit, and please exit before you do actually start to ruin the culture, which takes so much more time to bring back.
All it takes is one.
Know when your time is to exit. And don't burn the bridge doing it. Just exit stage left and move on to your next chapter.
You talked about that today around leaving with intention, with I don't remember the exact word you said, but I'm thinking graceful intention. When I left the last company that I was at, it was really hard for me not to say what I really wanted to say. Now I said it, but I did it in a very respectful way.
Right.
Because I was grateful for being there the time that I had been there. I learned a lot. And I learned a lot about what I didn't, leadership that I didn't want to do. So it was great. It was great for me in terms of the business that I have now.
Right.
But I remember leaving, and I was really proud of the way I left, because it was very high, graceful. Like there wasn't this big exit and
no Jerry Maguire moment.
No Jerry Maguire moment. Although in my heart and in my head it was there. I was like, come on. And believe me, I had a lot of people that were kind of like, a lot of the younger generation that were like, take me with you. Where are you going? And but I remember saying, even to the people that I had to leave behind that I love so much, I said, you know what? It's your time to rise. It's your time. You can step in. You can step up. I don't need to be here, but I get to watch you from afar. And that's the way to leave an organization. And I don't think people do that. They don't think about that. They think about themselves and just that short term, like, I'm going to stick it to the boss. That's not what it's about.
Or it's like, I'm going to jump ship. It was jump ship abruptly. I'm going to do that because I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to show them that I can do something completely better. I'm going to show them that I'm worthy of this. And when you do that because you're focused on them, and you're in it for the wrong reasons. And when you're in it for the wrong reasons, you're not going to get what you intended. You really have to carefully plan it. I mean, with your career, with the things that you aspire to be, it's something that you need to take seriously. And if you let somebody else cloud your judgment, and you just jump ship because you're trying to prove a point, well, you're going to have egg on your face for a long time.
That's also why I think you talked about in your talk about having a North Star. We all talk about clarity.
Let's talk about the North Star.
Because it all starts with there. Because if you're not aligned to what the North Star is, then you're going to show up in a weird way. Your boss might not know how to motivate you in some ways. Well, of course, right? So it's really, I think, important to have that conversation if you're coming into the workforce with your manager about what you care about and so on. Because or else it just, I think, leads to a lot of conflict.
It does.
Because you can see already that sometimes people come in, and again, this new generation, I think, cares a lot more about purpose and mission. They care about balance, and mental health, and so on. And so I think some of what I've seen observed from other leaders who are getting a little bit older, they're like, well, they're not grinding it out, working 60, 70 hours. Well, why should they, right? They have a different mission. You have not aligned with their mission, right? You want the best out of them, you're going to align, of course, and it has to be a meeting point, right? And if it's completely disaligned, then maybe it'll never work, right? But there are ways to find common ground between what the mission ultimately of the business or the team is and also the person is. That's the work of, I think, of leadership is, if you can align that, that's when the power gets unlocked. Because as long as there's friction, there's always going to be subpar emotions, results, whatever it is. If you can align them as much as you can, that's where the beauty happens.
Yes,
right?
this hustle culture versus grit, which I think was probably the biggest piece that I wanted to get through. Grit standing for growth mindset, R standing for resilience, I standing for integrity, T standing for tenacity. I can't believe I remembered all that. And
you're like, oh man,
I got it. And but you're right. I think the younger generation understands grit so well. We're the ones from the older generation that need to adapt and evolve, because it like I put on the stat, 77 to 80% of people are burned out, which is where the mental health issues come in, the stress, the anxiety, the physical ailments, heart attacks, all the things that start happening. I mean, not to scare everyone, but it's the real deal.
If you're burnt out, you're not any good to anyone.
No, you're not.
Yourself,
You're not good to anyone.
This is also why I'm so passionate about this. Like trying to figure out how we engage people in the best way, because 2 out of 3 people are disengaged, or 77% of people burn out.
Right.
It's not just that those people are suffering. Those people bring that with them. You can't just separate your work from your life. You're going to go home. Your family's going to be affected by it. Your kids are going to be affected by it. Your friends. So it affects everything around you.
It does.
Like, it's just work. Yeah, I don't have to be happy to. Fuck that. This is not how it actually works. Emotions don't work that way. You're going to carry that with you all the time, and everybody's going to suffer because of it. So you got to dig deep and figure out what it is that will get you back on track somehow. Maybe it's the jobs that's killing you, or relationships, or whatever it is. Jerk bosses. There's something, and as long as that's there, you're never going to be fully satisfied, fully fulfilled.
I want you to talk about that shift for you that's happened just since I've known you, from the hustle to, you understand now, as we've talked about, the hustle and the grit.
Something that has actually slowed me down.
No, I haven't slowed you. Well, yes, slowing you down to make you go faster.
Yeah,
which is key. But you were always of that mindset. And
well, that's how I grew up, with parents that like work 60, 70 hours, burn yourself out, right? Get it done. But I have that entrepreneur spirit in me.
Right.
Yes.
But Dawn has definitely helped to slow me down and realize I can walk the dog and come back and there's a new contract signed at my desk.
Isn't that amazing how that works?
Oh man,
like, no, it's okay to go walk the dog during the day, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's okay to actually go to the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
So yeah, it's been nice to step back and take some breaths and then realize and make more intentional decisions than just throwing lots of paint at the wall.
Yeah, because when we first met, you were in a role in a company that was not. It was a time and a place for you that aligned with your purpose, and then it shifted.
Well, like you, I have great nuggets that came out of it.
Yep.
I was not going to do the exit interview because I was not going to burn any bridges.
Okay.
This is a small world.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, they probably already knew what you were going to say in the exit interview anyway. They say the same with mine. Yeah.
Probably.
So what's the point,
so
right?
Yeah, I exited stage left gracefully.
Yes, you did.
And moved on. I mean, so that's
yes. And within like literally, if I remember, 24 to 48 hours, when you shifted that energy and you left, you had business lined up at the door. Yeah, and it just started coming in.
The hour right after.
Exactly.
Wow,
because that's what happens.
That's awesome.
That's what happens when we put our energy into the right things and focus on how we want to feel instead of what we think we need.
Have 5 new clients in 1 quarter.
And then we got to work together on a project, which was great. Fun. Out here.
Yeah.
in
It's
Denver.
been 1 year. It's been 1 year.
It's
Propel
been
Health
1
Advisors is 1 year old.
year. Is it right now 1
Yeah.
year
Wow.
officially?
I launched it right after we were at SOAR in Atlanta.
Oh
It
my
went
gosh.
public, yeah.
You know what? You talk about Bluebird all the time because
Yeah.
that's why we're here. But
Yeah.
I think this is a good opportunity for you to plug your company because
Absolutely.
nobody really you're so humble about it. You're kind of like you come in and you kind of sneak in.
Yeah, that's my,
But
that's
this is-
my
I know,
Inception.
but
That's
we're
what I
putting
do.
we're putting you on the spot now.
Oh my
Talk about
Come
Propel
on.
for 2 minutes.
What's your mission?
1
Yeah.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
mission. For Propel Health Advisors, our mission is to help bridge the gap between operations and IT. I've
Okay.
sat on both sides.
Mhm.
I've seen operations. I've seen the IT.
Mhm.
There's still IT departments that don't talk to operations and just
Yeah.
make shitty decisions.
Mm.
And then I also go out in the field and see people that don't know that that there's certain decisions out there, especially with AI evolving so much, and watching them struggle. And so for me, yes, I'm a multitasker, but I don't want to carry the laundry up and down the stairs 20 times. I want the chute. I want to just go down.
Right.
And
Right.
so
right.
how do we help the nurses, the doctors, the providers not go up and down the stairs 20 times, go up and down once, and maybe it's just one, different click of the mouse or a different key, but maybe it's here's this new AI tool, here's ambient listening, and so Propel will help with all of that.
Love that.
Amazing.
I mean, that's such an important thing because when we talk about business, operations and IT, because I deal with that too. When you talk about the friction between, those
There's so
two
much.
sides,
Mhm.
it's so much because it could be lack of synergy,
Yeah.
could be different goals. But once you have that alignment, you create that efficiency. I mean, you create a more collaborative workplace culture.
And you're saving so much in revenue. On
Yeah.
the back end. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if people want to be part of this event and
Yeah.
SOAR, what do they do?
What do they do? Our website, bluebirdleaders.org.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's on there.
Yeah.
What does SOAR stand for?
Oh.
Social
So
or
Outspoken.
open-minded.
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 Authentic.
Authentic.
relentless.
Relentless.
Love that. Love that.
I'm all like, oh my gosh,
Oh man! Oh, yeah,
all the acronyms.
I got it. Yeah. So yeah, it's about jumping off the bridge and just taking that leap. So next big event is in April.
Mhm.
Dawn's part of that. It's a very much workshop driven
Amazing.
in Sandustin, Florida.
You should come. You
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
come.
The
Be a
leadership
part of that.
in Florida.
Be a part of that.
We
Yeah.
also have
Yeah.
Send your people.
Sales forum in June that's happening. Really
Okay.
help teach sales leaders how to organically create those network
Mhm.
and not just be car salesmen.
Ah.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, like that question that was raised.
Yeah.
When was
Yeah.
early
Yes.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to Austin next year. Austin, Texas.
SOAR.
SOAR
Yeah.
2026 is gonna be the 5th one. We will have another gala. So
You wondering
it'll
where
be
we are? We're in Boulder right now.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a beautiful area. Oh
Yes,
man.
got the mountains
It's
here.
gorgeous.
You know.
Yeah.
I know.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Yeah,
all.
thank you.
I know you have flights to make, so thank you for coming
Thank
out.
you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
wonderful
for
to be
having us.
here.
This is awesome. So glad you were part of this. So glad to be part of this event. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Love
Yeah,
Come
it was
back, come back.
wonderful.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.